The Shadow Systems MR920 might be the best carry pistol ever made. Hey folks, welcome back to Bullets and Brass. I'm Remy, and today we're talking about Shadow Systems, and not specifically the MR920, but that's kind of their main default model, right? Now, first, I have no affiliation with Shadow Systems. They don't know who the hell I am. This is not a paid ad or anything like that. I wish it was. Even if they just sent me one to try out for a month or two, that would be freaking awesome. But no, we're not at that level. So currently there are four sizes. There's the CR, which is their little compact mini one. The MR, which is standard Glock 19 size, right? The XR, which is a full-size frame, but the compact slide, meaning the MR size slide. Now the reason for that is it's a law enforcement request. If you're sitting down, it's less likely to be, smacking into your seat, but also it clears the holster faster, but doesn't lose you grip size. They're not worried about concealing it. Full-size grip, no big deal. More ammo, great. They want to be able to get it out of the holster when they're in an awkward position, and let's face it, police waistband holster setups, they're sitting pretty high. It's not like most of us carry where it's a little lower on our hips. And then the DR, which is a full-size gun. It is a 1911 size gun, actually slightly smaller, but with a compensator as part of that size. It is not a threaded-on compensator. It has a whole special system engineered, so if you are in a state where you can't have a threaded barrel, check it out. There's two basic trim levels, Elite and Combat. Elite has all the frills. You've got cutouts, you've got an optics cut by default, everything you could want. The Combat is a little more stripped down, a little more utilitarian, but mostly it's cosmetic differences. You're losing those cutouts, which theoretically save weight. I don't care. Personally, I prefer not having the cutouts, but the optics mount is also optional at that point. So if you want that universal optics cut by default, you have to do an Elite, otherwise it's an extra. Now, something that's critical with the Shadow Systems guns, for the most part, they duplicate a Glock gun in terms of holster fit, in terms of magazines, in terms of a lot of accessories. They are designed to be as compatible as possible without giving up the extras that they're offering. So rather than think about it as a modified Glock, think about it as a company that has said, we want to be able to use Glock holsters. We want to be able to use Glock magazines. We would like the mag releases, things like that. Trigger parts, if you decide to not use their good trigger, should be compatible because people may want to modify them. And rather than forcing you to go to a whole new system, there is an existing system that's extremely popular. Stick with it. They are, by the way, and the CR can use shield magazines if you change out the mag release. So perfectly doable. Otherwise, you're using their magazines, and honestly, their magazines are pretty available and pretty good. They've got a nice little pinky thing if you want that. If not, it's even shorter. I like them. It's one of the things they talk about is that magazine availability was key because they didn't want you to have to use some other brand. Whereas on the full size, I'm sure most people are just using Glock mags or P mags, either way. Hey, if you like these kind of videos, go hit the like button, go hit the dislike button. I don't care. Engagement's engagement. Go put a comment. Subscribe if you want. Go to my Patreon page, sign up on there. The designs and features were picked, developed, engineered by people with competition, military, and law enforcement experience. This is not, design a Glock by somebody who has no clue what they're doing and no experience. It's not a redesigned Glock. It is a new pistol from the ground up designed to be Glock compatible. It's worth noting they are a U.S. company. They are out of Plano, Texas, and just about everything is made in-house. They do source some parts elsewhere, but pretty much it is Plano, Texas. They are making it all themselves. This really cuts down on supply chain issues and really gives them good control over the quality. Now let's talk specific features. The number one from my point of view, there's no slide bite. There's no Glock bite. They extended the frame out with a noticeable beaver tail that is properly shaped and properly sized to actually work. I, I don't know, it blows my mind that Glock can't figure this out without making me buy something else and only available in certain models. And why? Just fix it. Perfection? My ass. The next major feature, particularly this is one that you would normally upgrade on a standard Glock and it's already done. They have a very nice trigger, but it is a combat slash police general purpose trigger. It is not meant to be a super race gun trigger. It's roughly 4 to 4.5 pounds. So in certain classes, if you're competing or if you're in a department with specific requirements, you may need to up that spring tension. But overall, that's right in the ballpark, and it is very smooth, has a good feel. It's an all metal trigger and it feels good. We've already mentioned it, but there is a universal optics cut either available on the combat models or by default on the elites. Shadow Systems was like, you know what? There's only like 4 different systems really commonly in use. We're going to build ours to work for any of them. The Magwells are generous without being obnoxious. They are not as extreme as, say, the Zev ones. The stippling is very nice. It is enough to be aggressive and really solid grip, but not so aggressive and sharp that it is putting wear and tear on your clothes when it doesn't need to. What's interesting is that they've done a replaceable backstrap piece, but it's not to change the size of the grip to fit your hand. It changes the grip angle so that the gun points properly for you. Because everybody's got a natural point of aim. This way you can adjust the gun to be on target for you. None of this, Glock angle versus 1911 angle. No, pick the angle you want. Why not? The main complaint I've heard about the grip and the design for that area on the Shadow Systems is that the stippling doesn't quite come all the way down in front, and people are like, but I want my pinky to have checkering. Yeah, it is what it is. They didn't do it. I don't know why. The serrations on the slide, very good. I'm a fan. I didn't really get into the whole top serrations being directional and all that. I don't care. I'm sure somebody cares or they wouldn't do it because they've thought this through. Clearly there was a demand for that. The sights are, on most of them, significantly higher than like a standard default sight, but not really the super tall suppressor height by default. They're high enough really to be able to be visible through an optic. So most of the optics, they sit a little higher your slide, right? Well, this lets you still see your sights. So you can co-witness your sights. Not perfectly, but you can do it. That way if your red dot goes down for whatever reason, you can still shoot the gun without taking the red dot off. Overall, I think they are an excellent pistol. I really think that they nailed the what do you want in a carry gun? What do you want in a self-defense handgun? What do you want in a police pistol if you're willing to spend the money to go beyond generic? There's nothing on these guns that detracts from their ability to do their job. There's nothing on these guns where I go, that's a weak point that needs to be addressed. I need to add a part or a feature or replace something. They're the gun you buy out of the box and just, you're good. You're good to go. Which in the modern world of handguns, for handgun aficionados, this is not a gun for your average idiot. This is a gun for somebody who appreciates the extra lengths they've gone to. I think they nailed it. I really do. It is on my shopping list, but I'm not in the market for a new pistol right now. Take care, have fun, stay safe, y'all.